Trump chickened out, not metaphorically, not diplomatically, politically, strategically, completely. A week ago, he was threatening tariffs, hinting at force and talking about sovereignty over Greenland. Today, there is no annexation, no tariffs, no escalation, just a vague framework that changes nothing. That is what backing down looks like. And the reason matters because this time was different. This was not about trade. It was not about Greenland's ice or military bases. This was about sovereignty. And when sovereignty is threatened, countries stop behaving like accountants. For years, Europe responded to Trump with appeasement. It swallowed humiliation, accepted unequal trade deals, avoided retaliation, and convinced itself this was the price of stability. Every time Trump pushed, Europe bent. And every time Europe bent, Trump pushed further. Greenland crossed a red line. Once the language shifted from pressure to territorial threat, the political logic inside Europe changed. This was no longer about cost-benefit analysis. This was about precedent. If a NATO ally can be bullied over sovereignty, then no European country is safe. And this time, Europe did not fold. Instead, it signaled something new, not loudly, not recklessly, but clearly. First, the financial signal. European pension funds openly discussed reducing exposure to US debt. The amounts were not large. The message was, American debt is built on trust, and trust can be politicized. Trump reacted instantly, threatening retaliation if Europe sold US assets. That reaction alone tells you how sensitive this was. Second, the strategic signal. Europe made clear it was ready to freeze trade processes, revive retaliatory tariffs, and use its anti-coercion instruments to limit American access to the European market. These tools would hurt Europe too. Everyone knew that. And here is the key point. Europe was willing to accept that pain. Because when sovereignty is threatened, economic discomfort becomes secondary. States do not care about quarterly losses when political authority is on the line. European public opinion reflected that shift. Voters were no longer asking how much retaliation would cost. They were asking whether Europe would stand up for itself at all. This is where China enters the story. China did not surrender when Trump imposed tariffs. It absorbed pain, retaliated selectively, and refused to panic. The United States does not like China, but it respects it. Europe noticed the difference. Appeasement bought Europe nothing but contempt. Resistance, even costly resistance, bought China credibility. Greenland became the moment Europe applied that lesson. Trump sensed it immediately. A unified Europe ready to accept economic pain is not an easy opponent. Add market volatility, weak approval ratings on the economy, and growing domestic sensitivity to instability, and the calculation changes fast. There was no upside for Trump, only risk, so he retreated. He reframed access as sovereignty. He talked about frameworks. He claimed victory. But nothing changed. No territory moved. No power shifted. The threats disappeared. Reality stayed exactly where it was. That is what a climb down looks like. The real significance is not Trump's retreat. It is Europe's shift. Europe learned that appeasement is not the least bad option. Unity creates leverage. Resistance earns respect. And sovereignty is the one line that, once crossed, changes everything. If this lesson holds, it could mark a turning point in transatlantic relations. Not hostility, not rupture, but maturity. Trump chickened out because Europe finally stopped kneeling. If you found this analysis useful, like the video, subscribe to the channel and follow Western Relations for more in-depth European geopolitical analysis. Thank you for watching.